Hey guys, hope y'all are doing good. Man, it's been a while since we've got to be together at church. Hopefully, in the next week or two, we'll be able to do that, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. But in the meantime, I know we've been trying to get together on Wednesdays with Zoom, but you guys are so busy and with trying to get together with your schoolwork and everything, and some of you are even working jobs. And so, well, I thought I'd just post a little something. Won't be long on YouTube that y'all could look at in your time. Hopefully, it'll help you in your prayer and your devotional time. Just a couple of things to think about. One of the things I wanted to talk to you today about is the prodigal son. And I don't know about you, but I get pretty busy, and sometimes I put things before my time with God. And listen, it's not good. Does God hate me for it? No, of course He doesn't. But He wants to be close to us, and He wants to be close to me, and He wants to be close to you. There's a story in the Bible about this, about the prodigal son, and the prodigal son is a guy who he just wanted to leave home, and he wanted what was his, and his dad had promised him some money, and so he said, "Well, I want my money now." And the dad said, "Well, you might better hold off." The son said, "No, I want it right now. I want what I want, and I want when I want it." And the father finally relented and said, "Okay, so what I want to do is I want to turn to it's in the book of Luke. So if you have if you have a Bible, and or maybe you could look it up on your phone. I don't know, but it's Luke chapter 15. And so I'm gonna go there right quick, and I just want to read. It's a short story, not very long, but I want to read to you this story about the prodigal son. All right, it's Luke chapter 15, and it's verse 11. All right. Okay, here we go. And so he said, a man had two sons. All right. Now, he said, the younger of them said to his father, he said, "Father, give me the share of the estate that falls to me." So he divided his wealth between them. And not many days later, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey into a distant country, and there he squandered his estate with loose living. So think about loose living. What does that mean to you? I know let's say when I was 18, 19 years old, I moved out of my parents' house. I was ready to go. I had a buddy that was a year older than me, and we had gone to school together. We had played sports together, football, basketball, track, everything. We had played together, and we were pretty good friends. And so we got us a house in the country, pretty far away from everybody, and we thought it'd be a perfect party pad. And so we had some parties, and did a little alcohol, did a little dope, and thought that we were just living the good life. And it wasn't too long before I ran out of money, and we ran out of patience with each other. So anyway, I know what it means about wanting what you want right now, and loose living. I know what that is, and so I can certainly relate to this story. It says when he had spent everything, all the money his dad gave him, he said a severe famine occurred in that country, and he began to be impoverished. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, and he set him into his fields to feed the swine. So this kid who had everything, his dad had provided for him a good living, right? And all of a sudden, he found himself without money because he'd wasted it on girls and alcohol and whatever else he wanted to waste it on. And finally decided, well, I got to make some money. So now he became a guy who was feeding pigs. That was his job, and that's how he was hoping to make some money. He said he would have gladly filled his stomach with the pods that he was feeding the pigs, but no one was giving anything to him. And it says when he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread? But I am dying with hunger. I will get up and go to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against you, and I've sinned against heaven, and in your sight I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired men." So he got up and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him. Okay, here we go. Here's the turning point, right? His father saw him. Now, what do you think his father's going to do? After he had wasted all that money, his inheritance. Now, it wasn't just a little bit of money, right? What, Dad, give me a couple $100 so I can go out. And it was his inheritance, right? And his inheritance meant that everything the father had, he had two sons. So what was to be his when his father died, his father went ahead and gave to him. So it was a lot of money, and the son had blown it on everything. Now, have you ever come to a point in your life like this guy, where he's like, I've done so much and I've gone too far that there's no way God is going to take me back? Have you ever been, and I know you have, because I certainly have, just really anxious about telling your mom or dad something. You know, how you've messed up and you've screwed up and you know you've done it and you don't want to admit to it and the pride gets in the way. Have you ever just let that tear you up? And have you ever wondered in your mind what they would say? You know, and if you're like me, I'd go over in my mind 1,000 times, how are my parents going to react? You know, it's funny because when I think that they would react really mad, they would shrug it off. And when I thought it was not a big deal, they would really blow up. And so it's like, you just didn't, you know, it's just hard to predict how people are going to react. And especially in our relationship with God. You know, it's been a while since we've been together at church and had youth group. And maybe it's been a while since you've talked to God. Maybe it's been a while since you've had a devotional, or, you know, you've spent time in His Word and you feel like you're just so far away. And you feel like, you know what, of all that coming together of God I did a while back, now it's just not there. And so I might as well forget it. What's the use? You know, God doesn't really think much of me now anyway. I can't devote time to anything. You know, what's God going to say? You know, and if you're thinking that, and, you know, and all of us have, I think, at one time or another, I want you to listen to the end of this story. And because this is Jesus telling the story. And He's telling it because He understands that people have trouble. He understands that sometimes people might drift away from their relationship with Him. He understands that. And He wants to put our minds at ease. He wants you to understand and know that He still loves you, no matter what, no matter how far away you've drifted. Let's listen to what the Father did to the Son. He said, "But while the Son was still a long ways off, His Father saw him and felt compassion for him and ran and embraced and kissed him. And the Son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son.'" You guys ever said that to yourselves? I know I have. But the Father said to His slaves, He said, "Quickly bring out the very best robe and put it on him." He said, "Put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fatted calf. Kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead, but he has come to life again. And he was lost, but now he has been found." And they began to celebrate. Do you see what Jesus said? He said, "My son was lost, but now he's found." You know, there's another story in the Bible where Jesus talks about a shepherd who had a whole bunch of sheep. And he said that the shepherd was counting the sheep one evening, and he noticed there was one sheep gone. Now, you would think that one sheep out of all the many sheep that the shepherd had wouldn't have been that important, and that the shepherd would have just spent his time on the many that were there. But Jesus said the shepherd left those who he knew were his sheep, and he went out to find the one that he knew was lost. He knew that lost sheep didn't think he was He was his. And that's what Jesus does for us. He goes out and he finds us where we're at. He finds us no matter what we're doing, no matter what our mindset is, no matter if we're feeling good or we're feeling bad, no matter if we've got a bottle in our hand or a needle in our arm, no matter if we've got anger in our hearts, no matter if we've got families that are broken, no matter what you think of yourself, Jesus sees you coming from a long way off because he's always looking for you. The story says that the father didn't just say, bring me a robe or, bring me some shoes. He said, bring me the best of what I have. Bring me the best robe, the best shoes, the best ring, and put it on so that you can remember that you are mine, because I want to give you all the gifts that I can possibly give you because I love you so much, and I'm so happy you're back. And that's the way Jesus is with you. He's so happy whenever you come back. And it's never too late. You're never too lost, because he's so in love with you. Now I want to encourage you today. Remember that Jesus loves you so much. He's always there for you. And like the Father and like the shepherd, he's got his eyes peeled. He's always got you in his sights. And he's just looking for you. He's looking for you to make that turnaround. I love country music, right? And in some country songs, there's a theme. And the theme is brake lights, right? Because it's usually some cowboy with a broken heart. And he's looking off in the distance at the car driving away with his woman in it and his dog and, whatever. And he's saying in his heart and in his song, I just need to see those brake lights. Put on the brake lights so I know you're going to turn back around. And that's what Jesus is saying to you. I'm always looking, even when you're walking away. I want to see you put on those brakes, and I want to see you turn around, and I want to see you come back to me. So let me just ask you these questions right quick. Do you relate to that son? Do you relate to the son that thought that he had blown it all? I mean, he thought he was so smart and he wanted all of his money right now because he figured he knew better for himself. And at some point, we are left up to making our own decisions. And sometimes we fail. But Jesus always forgives. Another question. How do you think the Father felt? How do you think the Father felt as his son took everything and just ran off? It gets to the heart of God. It gets to the heart of Christ whenever we are disobedient, whenever we feel like we know better for ourselves, and when we feel like we just got to run off and do our own thing. It's not that he's angry, it's just that he loves us. And his heart is so open to you. And it saddens him whenever we're so far away and he doesn't see those brake lights. Another question, how did you expect the Father to react when he saw the son returning? And it's just like me, always thinking about how were my parents going to react? How much trouble am I in? Are they going to just shake it off? Or are they going to ground me and take away my car or my phone or whatever? And then the last question, how does it make you feel to know God loves you no matter what you do? I have to remind myself of that sometimes. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes I say something I shouldn't, or I think thoughts. I think that's for me. For me, that's the hardest thing. I want you to know we love you so much. And I hope you have a great day. Don't let this old world get you down, man. Things are happening. But let me tell you something. Things are looking up. Jesus knows what's going on. We love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Hopefully soon in person. Adios.